Meet Zoomlock, the 10-second flame-free refrigerant fitting from Parker. Reduce labor costs by 60% with no brazing, no flame, and no fire spotter. Discover how Zoomlock can help you be more efficient and productive. Visit Zoomlock.com for more information.
Those of us with dirty hands, blood stains intertwine, right away each morning to grind it out another time. The faces in the mirror, and not as young as they once were, but they're proud, they're proud.
Good morning, guys. It is Monday morning, June 19th. And we got a couple service calls that came in. So I figured I'd take you guys along today and see what we can get into. Hopefully I can get you guys some footage on it. And then tomorrow, I'm going to do a little change out in an apartment complex that I take care of. It's not really an apartment complex. It's like a duplex area. There's been videos on the duplex. It's in one of the 2 service call combo videos, one of the recent ones where the Nordyne compressor was locked up, and we even tried a hard start to break it free and it wouldn't work. It's not, we already changed that unit out, but this is another house or duplex in that same complex. It's got the original Magic Chef condenser where the condenser coil is flat on top and the fan motor's underneath it. And still has the original Magic Chef air handler, and it's leaking gas. We had to put a couple pounds of gas in it the other day. It's a little 2.5 ton. So we're going to replace that system tomorrow, and I'll try to get some footage on that. But we're not too far from we're about a mile away from our first service call, and we'll see if we can get you guys some film on it. Alright guys, we got us a Lennox here, a 13 HPX 036 from 2013. Just a little low on gas, subcooling's a little low, superheat's a little high, 410A. Not terribly low, but low enough to where it's not performing for her. It's not cooling the house off. We'll squirt a little bit of 410A in there and check for a leak on the old Lennox coil. Alright guys, we've put about 1.5 pounds of gas in her. Things are looking better. Got 11 degrees of subcooling, 24 degrees superheat. I'd like to see the superheat come down a little bit lower. I know with Lennox it's going to be a TXV because all Lennox equipment comes from the factory with a TXV. I learned that when I worked for that other company because they were the premier Lennox dealer here in town, and so I know we're working with a TXV here. Subcooling looks good, but I definitely like to see that superheat come down, and it looks like it does want to come down. So I'm gonna let it sit here for a couple more minutes and see if that superheat will drop down at below 20. Alright guys, I'm starting to think that now that I'm looking at things and after adding a little over 2 pounds, almost 2.5 pounds, it may not be a leak. It's probably a TXV issue. As you can see, we're at 17 degrees of subcooling and the superheat just doesn't want to drop. That superheat should be much lower than that. I will go ahead and scan it for a leak with the H10, but if it is leaking, we'll go ahead and order a coil because the new Lennox coils come with new TXVs. But if I don't hit off with a leak, then we'll just get her a TXV. Either that or we'll pump it down and put a piston in it. That'd probably be the best thing to do, to be honest with you. But yeah, if it's a TXV, I'll just pump it down and put a piston in it. But we'll go scan it and see. Alright guys, so we're leaving that that Lennox. It all turned out to be a bad expansion valve, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason I didn't get more film. Another one of these customers. So it turned out it was a bad TXV when I started adding the gas, you know. the subcooling and the head pressure would go up. Now this one wasn't completely stuck because the suction would move up a little bit and the superheat would drop just a little bit. But I took it all the way up to 20 degrees of subcooling, and we were still holding at 20 degrees of superheat. So the valve needs to be replaced. I was going to simply throw a piston in it. But with the Lennox troubles that I know about from working for that other company with the coil leaks, I said, well, hey, let me go ahead and scan this thing and with a leak detector and make sure it's not leaking. I scanned it, no leaks found. I said, okay, well, she just needs a new TXV or a piston. We don't have a Lennox store here, so I said, I'll just throw a piston in. So I explained to her all that, and she's like, okay, well, I got to talk to my husband about it. I said, okay, well, that's fine. I said, all you owe me right now is a service. I wasn't even going to charge her for the Freon because I did no good. I didn't really do any good by putting her Freon in, and I knew I was going to have to recover it anyway. I would have put it in my cylinder. So I told her, I was like, look, all you owe me is $95 for my service call, and if you decide you want to do the work, you can call me back, and it's by the hour. She's like, wait a minute. Nah, you told me a free estimate. I said, excuse me? She said, no, you told me it was a free estimate. And we did talk about that on the phone. And I was very specific on the phone. I said, ma'am, I don't give free estimates on repair work. I only give free estimates on if you want to estimate to change out your equipment, like change out the outdoor unit and the indoor unit. And on the phone, she said, well, no, I don't want to do that. I want to fix this one. I said, okay, well, then it's $95 per hour plus any parts. And she told me to come on out. Well, she tried to play that crap about the free estimate thing that we talked about. And make a long story short, I didn't get my money out of her. You know, she didn't pay me. She said she was going to call her husband and talk to him about it. I requested the husband's phone number so I could speak to him, and she wouldn't give me his phone number. Because this is one of those women that you can't make her understand everything. I mean, you can't make her understand nothing. Like, no matter what you tell her, she's going to stick to that same story. And I told her, I was like, ma'am, I got friends in the heat and air business here in town. I'll give you their phone numbers. You can call any of them. They're going to tell you the same thing. You're going to have to pay for a diagnosis. And, you know, she just kept sticking with her story. And that's when I requested her husband's number to give him a call and see if maybe, you know, he could understand. And I could go ahead and get my service call, a check for my service call. But she wouldn't give me his number. She said she would have him call me, but we all know what that means. I'll never hear from these people again. So, anyway, I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. I mean, I haven't had this in a while. I mean, I'm upset, you know, because, you know, it's only $95, but $95 is $95. So, yeah, I'm a little pissed off about it, but in a way, I'm not, and I'm laughing because it's so funny how people want something for nothing, you know. But I guarantee you, I don't guess she works, but I'm sure if her husband went to work and they said, well, look, we're not going to pay you for one day, we're going to cut a day off your check, you know, she'd probably go ballistic on whoever he works for. But I just find it so funny how these people want something for nothing. But, you know, I guess it is what it is. I should have known on the phone when she was talking all that I shouldn't have even went out. But again, it is what it is. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll be able to get y'all some better video later today or tomorrow or something. But thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.